As much as my grandfather was probably a visionary and a legacy builder, my dad was the same way. Right before he passed, he shared with my older brother some things and some concerns that he wanted him to make sure that would happen with the family. And I think one of the things that he told him is that my father's name is known, that his name should pop. And the way he said it, and I was like, why would Daddy say make his name pop? And it's funny because, of course, the name of the farm is called Robinson Farms. We are originally from East Prairie, and my grandfather and my father farmed out in a little community called Pinhook. The land that my grandfather purchased was considered swampland. Nobody wanted. He and some of his friends cleared the land, and now it is some of the richest, most expensive soil in Southeast Missouri. My grandfather actually created a community organization called the Christian Liberty Organization. And what this organization did was it brought conglomerates of African American churches together, and he convinced them to buy land. And so these churches came together and they bought land, and what they would do is they would give Black sharecroppers the opportunity to rent land from this organization and build their business in farming. They had at one point thousands of acres, just knowing that we understood the practicality of what he was trying to put together, what he was trying to build. My dad came in and filled the gap that when we were growing up, he always focused on us thinking bigger than ourselves. I could say, Dad, I want to work at the bank. Why? Don't you want to own the bank? And I'm like, why are you messing with my psyche? How am I going to own a bank? He would always put the next level of thing in your head because he had always told us, go do this big thing, go do this big thing. I was at work complaining one day to the Lord about what it was I was supposed to be doing. We just got all of our kids out of the house. I was just like, what am I supposed to be doing? And he's like, yeah, open a hotel. And I was like, did he just say open a hotel? Like, I really heard him say open a hotel. And I thought, why would I open a hotel? I don't have dreams of a hotel. He was like, well, you asked me what could you be doing? And I said, open a hotel. I came home and I went to visit a friend from high school. We're talking and chatting and we're reminiscing about my parents, and then my lips just started moving. I'm like, do you know of any land between St. Louis and Memphis? And she's like, I don't know nothing, but I know somebody who knows everything. And so she calls this lady and she puts her on speakerphone. We meet her at the office. Then she reared back in her chair and she goes, you know, I know about this property. It's been on and off the market for about 10 years. She goes, I'm gonna call the realtor and see if we can't get in. So we drive onto the property and we see this cottage and this red barn. And so we were excited about that. And then she said, well, there's 2 more buildings on the property. We get back in the car and then we started driving further into the property and these big, huge metal gates start to open up. And I'm like, are we dead? Because I feel like we had just been transferred into a place where I didn't know it to be in Cape Girardeau. We walked all through the property and it was flowing in my head what I could do with the property and all this good stuff. Just to think about the vastness of it, the acreage and what was already existing that we wouldn't have to build. I was like, I think this is the beginning of the hotel. I have 9 brothers and 2 sisters. At the beginning, my mother had a really difficult time with fertility. She had her first child, living child, at 28. So between 28 and 42, she had 12 children. They had to pray for them to come, and then my dad would tease and say they had to pray for them to stop. So if you got 2 people in your family, you can work a business, but trust me, you could do it with 12. It takes a whole nother level of, understanding and patience and all that stuff, but it's definitely doable. My siblings jumped on board and bought into the vision. We are now the owners of Robinson Farms. It has been a journey for us because we are a family-owned business. We really had to reevaluate who we are, where we're going, what we want to be, and now you see what we have is the family working together, bringing all of our gifts and our talents to the table so that all of us can work together and to produce a legacy that our parents have left with us. My brothers worked really hard with my dad, building the foundation for this. A lot of them came out of farming after high school, moved on into different careers. We couldn't imagine ourselves farming again at this point, but to be able to take the lessons learned and the knowledge of farming and be able to put it in our own spin, to match it with the hotel, it has been something great for us to be able to create something of our own and still have the legacy of the farm and farming, and then bring in the elegance to it. My dad's land that he held on to was definitely something that we were able to utilize and make sure that we were able to purchase this property by holding on to that. It is a privilege to be a part of his lineage, and he's inspired so many of us to think beyond our own capacities. Our parents are gone, and so there's only the 12 of us, and so we have to make sure that we understand it's us now. We still communicate, we still get together the same way our parents used to get together, and now it's a whole generation coming back. We're no longer the next generation, it's actually our kids who are the next generations. It has been an interesting journey, and I know that there's so much more to come, so I'm excited.